We're just 2 weeks away from the midterm elections, and tonight the candidates for one of Pennsylvania's U.S. Senate seats will face off in their first and only debate. New CBS News Battleground Tracker polling shows Democratic Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman 2 points ahead of the Republican candidate, Dr. Mehmet Oz. CBS News chief election and campaign correspondent Robert Costa is in Harrisburg covering the race and tonight's debate.
Good morning from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, the rainy state capital. Ahead of this high-stakes debate, our new CBS News poll shows core voters in both parties are now rallying around their nominees, coming home, as they say, before Election Day. When they take the stage, a lot is on the line for Republican Mehmet Oz and Democrat John Fetterman, and for Pennsylvania voters.
I'll keep us safe, cut your taxes, and protect our jobs.
Oz and Republicans have linked Fetterman to President Biden and made crime a focal point.
All the law enforcement groups have endorsed me because they know Fetterman doesn't have their back, and I'll fight hard to let them do their job.
Across the ballot, the Republican push on crime has led other Democrats to push back, including the state's attorney general and Democratic gubernatorial nominee.
Voters are concerned about public safety, as they are the economy and protecting their fundamental freedoms. And so I talk about this issue wherever I go.
On the economy, pain is evident. The new CBS News Battleground Tracker shows voters want to hear the candidates' views on the economy and inflation policies. What's it like when you walk into a grocery store these days as a college student and you look at the prices?
Heart-wrenching, because I get a certain amount of money for like the week, and then by the time I go grocery shopping, it's all gone.
Who wants to pay $4 for gas? You know, that's really has to be the number one issue.
And despite all that, I survived to be back, and that makes I'm going to fight for you all because I'm back out on the trial.
Fetterman, who had a stroke in May, has been reassuring voters that he is ready to serve. His doctor has done the same, issuing a letter that the candidate has no work restrictions and can work full duty in public office.
But as long as I have captioning, I'm able to understand exactly what's being asked.
Fetterman's use of a captioning device will be on display during the debate. In downtown State College on a football weekend, voters weighed in.
I don't think anyone should be shamed for using things that make things more accessible for them.
I think that people are wondering, can he handle the job?
There's just too much attention on it,
says media observer Al Tompkins. And more than half of the voters agree, saying they don't think it's important to talk about Fetterman's health during the debate.
I think people care about things like inflation and crime and international relations, trust in government. Those are all important issues for people.
CBS News has learned that later this week, President Biden will return to Pennsylvania to raise money for Democrats. He will be back again in early November, that time with former President Barack Obama. They will crisscross the state, going from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia, highlighting just how important this battleground is for the White House. Anne-Marie, Vlad.
Bob, thank you very much. So here for more analysis on tonight's debate is Antjuan Seawright. He's a CBS News political contributor and Democratic strategist, and Leslie Sanchez. She's a CBS News political analyst and Republican strategist. Great to see you guys again. So, Antjuan, I'm going to start with you. We're just going to lay the land in terms of what do voters in Pennsylvania want? What do Democratic voters in Pennsylvania want? How will Democrats win the state? Presumably, I'm thinking that they also want to get support outside of Philadelphia, and Pittsburgh. They want to, move beyond that.
Well, what Democrats have done has touched every four corner of the state of Pennsylvania. And what the message has been on the ground is, one, talking about the things we've done, but also making this election a comparison election, giving voters a true snapshot of what this race is. And it is a choice. It's a choice between a party of the right-wing, MAGA, extreme insurrection supporters, election deniers, versus a party who has delivered exactly what the people of Pennsylvania asked for. That's why the people of Pennsylvania came out in handsome numbers to support President Biden, and everything that those voters wanted from this administration and Democrats, they've delivered, from lowering the cost of goods and services to making sure that healthcare, education, and all those other pocketbook issues are not only accessible, but they are affordable.
Leslie, polling has shown, as you know, that what's essentially driving Democrats to the polls are the issues around abortion and voting rights. For Republicans, it's the economy and crime. Is that a winning strategy for the GOP?
I think it's a political reality for the country, Vlad. I mean, when people are thinking about what is a political strategy, it's really about tapping into the pulse of where the voters are. Pennsylvania is a great example of this. If you think that they had the highest electoral turnout in 2020, going back to 1960, and that has not waned in terms of polarization, activism, and people engaged in elections. So what does that tell you? They're really motivated. And in this case, it is those economic issues, the rising inflation. But the crime issue, it's not a gun problem. People are there, particularly in Pennsylvania, say it's a crime problem. Mass assaults, this increase in larceny, and not feeling safe in their own communities. That is both of those combined are activating factors that are really going to drive people to turn out in bad weather, when they have busy schedules. They are concerned about their livelihood, not just this week, but obviously finishing out the year and next year.
You know, Antjuan and Leslie, like one of the things that we've noticed is that what voters are most concerned about, it seems, changes from week to week. And certainly after Roe v. Wade was overturned, there was a big focus on what that's going to mean, what the fallout's going to mean in the weeks afterwards as we saw these trigger laws fall into place. But it seems like more immediately, and I know you said that Democrats are sort of going to the polls because of abortion, but it seems like what is top of mind for everyone is the economy. And it certainly seems as if Democrats have pivoted towards that. But I live in Pennsylvania, and I'm still seeing a lot of ads about abortion. Is the abortion issue still a driving force, the same driving force that it was, you know, maybe in the summertime, Antjuan?
Well, I've said from the very beginning that a woman having the ability to make her healthcare decisions, and those decisions remain between her and her doctor, will be a factor, but they will not be the determining factor in any given election. And so while it may be an issue, there are other issues that are top of the mind issues. And I don't disagree with my friend Leslie that public safety is an issue. But when going back to what I said earlier, when you talk about a comparison, you have a party who have voted by way of the American Rescue Plan to put billions of dollars into local government to give police departments the ability to protect their communities. Not one Republican voted for it. You have a party, when it comes to inflation, have put forth legislation and passed legislation to lower inflation rates and to lower the cost of goods and services as relates to everyday people, Democrats and Republicans. Not one Republican voted for it. That's why this election is a choice. And what you've seen in response to this radical right-wing Supreme Court decision is you've seen women register in record numbers in places like Pennsylvania because they want to be able to make their own healthcare decisions about their own bodies.
Leslie, as you know, Pennsylvania voted for Trump in 2016, but voted for Biden in 2020. What does that signal to you about the political landscape in Pennsylvania?
If you go back even to Barack Obama, and those presidential elections, you're seeing a couple of different things. One, more people are registering and turning out to vote. But two, what was traditionally a solid blue state moved over to show really strong shades of red. And it wasn't, Vlad, and you and I agree, I mean, Pennsylvania being one of those now battleground states that's been for a really long time, but the number of voters, I mean, just these waiting till these elections are over and we're counting meticulously all these votes, these too close to call elections are really commonplace now. And where is a lot of that? That's going to be in Philadelphia. So what's interesting about this race, if you look at the large number of votes that came out of Philadelphia, Republicans are thinking if they can just siphon off some of that, if they can focus on the crime issue, and people feel that they've been soft, Democrats have been soft on crime, have allowed repeat offenders to escape incarceration. Some of these types of policies they label with the Democrats. They feel that in a state or in a city like Philadelphia, the birthplace of democracy that's become a crime-ridden, many call it crime-ridden city, that there's a playing field to look for alternatives. And so I think you're going to continue to see too close to call elections. And this is definitely on the Senate side going to be one of them.
I like how Leslie said many call
that's
because she knows you don't want to bring the Philly out of me.
That's right.
But she's right.
Yeah.
There are some major concerns about crime. There are businesses that are rethinking their expansion within Philadelphia because of crime. So it's a valid issue.
Yeah. Always, Antjuan and Leslie, love having you guys on. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.